Hi everyone, this is Lauren coming at you from the Break Zone with another episode of the Final Fantasy Trading Card Game News. So unfortunately there was a little mishap with the previous recording when I did live on Twitch, so I'm going to just record it again. Hopefully actually it comes out better the second time around. So congratulations to Robert Phillips from the Crystal Tower. He was able to win the Winter Cup Whales. So his deck was just amazing. He did a really good job at it. Really entertaining to watch. I mean, hey, 6x bursts, that's pretty good. So he was able to win the event. Hopefully we'll get to hear him be interviewed by his the other host of that podcast of the Crystal Tower, Alex Hancock, who you might recognize as the 2018 World Champion for Final Fantasy, the trading card game. By the way, Alex Hancock, since he won the World Championship, was able to pick a full art promo for June, and even though he's known as the X-Death Wizard, he chose Bart, who is the protagonist of that game, Final Fantasy V. And Bart has been a force to be reckoned with whenever you played Mono Wind since Opus 1, so this card has been a mainstay for quite a while. And now that Mono Wind is actually a big force to be reckoned with, Bart is very relevant in this meta, and it'll be great to see this card in full art come June over at all your local game stores if you play any of the organized play events. Okay, next up we have the locations and dates of the Petit Cup events that will be happening in the winter in North America. So starting off with the Florida Petit Cup over on January 12th. That's the reunion event, Final Fantasy Trading Card Game Community event at Lake Mary, Florida. I'll go over it in a little bit when I speak about some of the future events that will be coming up. Next up, we have the Oregon Petit Cup on January 26th at Epic Gaming, Milwauke, Oregon, followed by Arizona Petit Cup on February 2nd at Desert Sky Games in Chandler, Arizona. Then we'll have the Final Fantasy Trading Card Game Fan Fair 2019, also known as the Fan Festa, on February 9th at the Hilton LAX, Los Angeles, California. And New York Petit Cup will happen on February 16th at the Uncommons, New York. Then Toronto will host a Petit Cup on February 17th at Harry Tarantula in Toronto, Ontario. And Virginia Petit Cup will happen on February 23rd at the RVA Battlegrounds in Richmond, Virginia. And last but not least, we have the Kansas Petit Cup, as well as the Petit Cup Circuit Finals on March 9th and 10th at Collector's Cash in Lenexa, Kansas. Okay. Also, just to let people know, there will be 6 Crystal Cups occurring next year, and some of the locations where some of the local game stores that will be hosting Petit Cups will be stores that you recognize as they have hosted. Some of the locations of the Crystal Cups will actually be stores that have hosted Petit Cups. So a lot of them will be probably familiar to anybody that's attended or kind of kept track of any of the events in 2018. I'm going to guess, what's it called? Oh, shoot. I forgot the name of some of the stores. Well, anyways, they will be recognizable, but even if your store is not one of the ones that are picked to host a Petit Cup or a Crystal Cup, there will be over 100 local qualifiers happening throughout the country during the season after Opus 8 actually is released. So if you're interested, there will be a window in which a store can actually what was it? Let me see. It was over here. Get more exciting. Premiere events. Well, some stores will be able to reach out to Final Fantasy, the Trading Card Game North America Facebook page in order to qualify to host local qualifier. And at 100 events, I think each store can hold up to 2 local qualifiers, so that there'll be over 50 stores chosen throughout North America. So it's not just the United States, it's Canada as well. Probably not Quebec though, because Quebec is special in its own way. Anyways, so don't feel left out if you don't host a Crystal Cup or a Petit Cup. You will be able to at least have a local qualifier, which will qualify you for the North America Championship and in turn you could also qualify for the World Championship as well. And last but not least, in case you don't know, Opus 8 will be coming out on March 22nd, 2019, and it will feature some cards and some art from Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, as well as Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood, Final Fantasy 15, and more are coming in Opus 8. So let's go over some of the recent tournament results, starting off with the Trials of Zodiac Braves, Trial number 2 Shamazai, over at Anime Imports, where they had 21 participants, and Earthwind came out on top. And just to give you guys a quick little preview, I will actually be doing a deck tech video going over the Monofire deck that was piloted by Clarmelia in order to get to the semifinals of that event, and the competition is quite fierce locally actually. So you'll be able to see some of the progress that she's made since the video where she was practicing or learning to play Mono Lightning earlier on this year. If you go back to our playlist on YouTube, you'll be able to see to watch Clarmelia and I kind of go over some of the plays. I think it was Mono Lightning versus Mono Ice, and I was trying to walk her through some of the steps, some of the ways, some of the plays that Mono Lightning should be making during those games. And Clarmelia is definitely a fire fanatic, and she has loved Mono Fire. She moved on to try out Mono Lightning, kind of try out different elements to see how they feel, how they play. And at this point, she was able to go back to her long lost love and her with their checkered past of with Mono Fire, and she was able to do quite well with it. Okay, next up we have the Cincinnati Weekly that happened on December 13, where Science came out on top. The Magic Stronghold Vancouver, Canada, December 13th event over at Magic Stronghold, where Earthwind won. The LWG Final Fantasy Fridays, where Mono Lightning won. The Soldier Series number 4, where Steven won with Earthwind, with the deck name. I didn't write a deck name, and Chris is feeling way too lazy to come up with a name for it. Thank you, Chris Adams, for always coming up with entertaining things, and I look forward to watching you commentate the reunion event with Matthew Rice over on, what was it, January 12th. The Meta Potion Championship Season 3 happened on December 15 at Top Deck Keep, where Earthwind came out on top, and familiar names like, Chip Davis, Greg Cole, but also Dan Nguyen over here, Brian Berkeley, of course, but Dan Nguyen over here with Earthfire Lulu, where it's not Lightning Lulu this time, but he was able to play a single copy of Fire Lulu in this deck, thus being able to call it a Lulu deck. But it's also a Krill deck with Phoenix, the Opus 7 Krill, and the Opus 3 Krill, and being able to use that special because, well, as long as the card name is the same, you're able to discard it to use it for the special ability of Krill. At the Cool Stuff Miami Store Championship, Mono Water came out on top, piloted by Jonathan Ciordia. If you're not familiar with Emo Tempest, that's his other name. He was the one that came out to be that got second place over at the Final Fantasy Brave Exvius Fan Festa. Okay, going over to Japan, on December 16, they had the Masters Shihoku District Qualifying Tournament, where Edamame Arcade Channel participated as well, and the top deck was Fire Ice. So I'll put a link in the comments below so that you could take a look over at the deck list, and definitely showcase some of the cards that came out in Opus 7, such as Ifrit, as well as Babliz and Snow. Okay, Hobby Japan had an article going over some of the things that have been happening in the meta that they've noticed since Opus 7 came out. And some of the things they noticed was that some of the decks that are coming out and making quite a bit of a showing are Mono Ice, Mono Water, Mono Earth, Mono Lightning, Water Wind, Water Earth, Climate deck. Not sure what that's supposed to be. It's a loose Google translation, so don't hold me to it. As well as Fire Earth. And some other cards that I made some pretty big showings are Galdez. In Mono Ice, we have the backup Snow. Also, Kolka to search out cards such as Opus 3 Yang and Ursula combo, Prish, or Psychom Wardens. And Water Earth. And if you're wondering why they're showcasing a lightning card for Water Earth, it's because Water Earth is Layla Vikings as well as Wall and Noctis. But Ramza, you're able to play it with either Leo or Opus 1 Shantoto by being able to generate a CP of different elements with your backups from Leo or Shantoto, counting as every as a character of every element. So you're able to dole it for lightning if you need to, and all of a sudden you have a 10,000 power haste that when it attacks can break a forward of cost 3 CP or less. And some of the cards I've been showing is Noctis, the Riku Pain, and in the World Championship there definitely was a lot of Yuris, especially in mono win decks that featured Bartz, Vata, and Yuri. Let's see anything else here. Nope. Okay, back to the US. The bi-monthly tournament over at Sequence Comics and Gaming, where Mono Lightning won. Oops, forgot to go back on this one. The MIA Monday Night Locals at Cool Stuff, where Sergio Bravo was piloted the Water Wind deck that featured that looks a lot like the deck that won the Winter Cup Wales. Well, actually, no, it's different. It has Vikings and Layla, but it has, well, actually, it is quite different. Sorry about that. But it is interesting, as I mentioned before in the other episodes as well. Mono Wind and Water Wind and Mono Water are all very powerful archetypes at the moment. And at the RVA Battlegrounds Weekly number 41, Ron came out with Mono Ice and called it campaign mode because I suppose it just feels like you're kind of going through the motion. I don't really know, but there's definitely some interesting names here. Oh, Rebel Yell. Almost want to click on that one. You know what? Let's do it. Rebels. I'm guessing Situ. Yep. And a bunch of Rebels. So having a good time over at the weekly tournaments. All right, next up, we're going to go over some of the upcoming events. We have the sushi tournament over at Buko Restaurant in Glendale, California on Friday, December 28th at 10 p.m. So you can go out and eat sushi at the restaurant first, and then when the clock strikes 10, you'll be able to play some Final Fantasy trading card game over there with a very awesome community. On December 29th, the Four Horsemen Comics and Gaming over in Morgantown, West Virginia will host the Final Fantasy trading card game first annual Mountaintop Mashup. Over in Dublin, California on January 5th, the Trials of the Zodiac Braves will hold the Aldra Malek. Oh, shoot. I am really bad at some of these names. But anyways, we'll hold an event over at Galaxy Games, Dublin, California. So please come out and enjoy. On January 5th, there will also be an event over at Enclave Games over in Boise, Idaho. The Final Fantasy trading card game welcome new players to a new year. And last but not least, if you haven't planned out for it yet, the reunion event, the first Petit Cup of the 2019 season, will be on January 12th over at Lake Mary, Florida. And as I mentioned, Matthew Rice and Chris Adams will be hosting the stream. So hopefully you enjoy what we do. You're looking forward to some of these events, some of these streams that are going to come out. I believe that on December 21st around noon, they will start selling the Fanfare Fanfesta 2019 February 9th event tickets. So if you're planning to attend, please look forward to that. And yeah, there's a lot of things coming out throughout the season. I look forward to, well, not only the Petit Cup season, but also the local qualifiers and the Crystal Cup season, as well as the North America Championship and the World Championship being hosted over in North America And well, thanks a lot for the support. It's been a great year. We've come so far thanks to your support. This game is amazing. The community is so great. I've played many games before, Magic and whatnot. I dabble in Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit, and some other ones as well as Dice Masters. But either way, I have loved this community, loved this game. It's great. It's fun. It's a good time. It is a very solid and intricate game, and it's a season for being thankful. I mean, yes, it is after Thanksgiving, but we're coming up on Christmas and New Year, and just as a general announcement, I might not be doing a video next week as well. We'll be somewhere between Christmas and New Year. I'll try to, but I can't promise that I will. So just in case I do miss you guys for a New Year, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year. Thanks a lot for all the love and support we've received. We can't say enough. And if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, feel free to put them down below. Otherwise, I'm going to give a shout out to our sponsor, MagicDeckGames.com, that sells Final Fantasy, the trading card game singles, as well as Pokemon and Magic. And they provided us with some prizes that we'll be able to give out when we reach 800, 900, and 1,000 subscribers. And at that point, we will choose one of our subscribers at random, and then we'll get to pick between one of the following prizes, and we'll send it out to them, such as, oops, not that one, you don't really need that card, but Dominaria Mox Amber, Iconic Masters Horizon Canopy, Cactuar Sleeves, a 60-pack, Lightning Plushie, or Opus 3 Shiva deck box from the Toronto Crystal Cup of 2018 that was autographed by Taro Kageyama, the producer of the game. And I'll also give out a set of pins from the Break Zone that's available on the Magitech Games store, our sponsor. And I'm wearing one right now. I think they actually look fabulous. I mean, I don't know how well you can see it up close because the lighting is only so here. But yeah, they look pretty amazing. I really like them, and depending on your mood, you can wear either one. You can see I'm wearing one, and it looks really, stylish. Either way, thanks a lot. Can't say enough. I mean, you guys, all the players out there are definitely the lifeblood of this community, and we're glad to see everybody enjoy the game, come out, and just support one another, support the game, the community, and it's just a great time out there. It's been a great year in 2018. We look forward to an even better year in 2019. And happy holidays, and we'll catch you guys next time.